Hello, Chris. Welcome, Chris, Dan, from the Bitcoin Festival. Uh, Welcome to the Larpar Show, where we talk about what is money, what is coming, and how to protect our families. So, Chris is one of the organizers from the Bitcoin Festival, who are bringing Bitcoiners together in Nottingham for free. Right, this is the first Bitcoin festival that in Nottingham that has been held in Nottingham, and will be held on Saturday, 6th of April, at the Carlton football grounds in Nottingham. So, Chris, tell us, how did you get involved in Bitcoin, and how did you find
So,
Bitcoin?
so I guess going back to the start of my journey, probably 2016, sort of mid 2016. Bit strange how I got into it. So the company I was working for at the time, it was the boss's son who introduced me. So the boss's son at the time was much younger than me. He must have been about 14 or something, and he came in to see his dad at work occasionally. And yeah, he was a nice kid. Just chat to him now and then, and yeah, I don't know how it came about, but got chatting about Bitcoin. I'm like, yeah, that sounds scammy and weird. So you've been, I mean, this, like I said, was a good few years ago. So he had he'd been into it for a few years before and had been mining it on his laptop. So he got in really nice and early. So yeah, like I said, got chatting to him and thought this sounds weird and interesting. So it's kind of like he introduced me and I was like, okay, well, what do you do sort of thing? How's it work? So he told me like to show me how to download a wallet. And I was like, cool. So I want some. How do I get some of this Bitcoin stuff? So yeah, I think I ended up just buying like 20 quid off him and gave him 20 quid cash and he sent me 20 quid's worth of Bitcoin. I was like, cool, I've got some Bitcoin. So I was like, so now what? He's like, well, just you can hold it or you can send it to other wallets, do what you want with it. I'm like, okay. So I went home, got on my computer, downloaded another wallet and sent some of my 20 quid to the other wallet and it showed up. I was like, that's neat. So I suppose that's how I very initially discovered it. And then I suppose start thinking a bit more about, so, what is this Bitcoin thing and who's kind of running the show? And yeah, just a few more conversations with him and then discovering a few other people who I'd sort of into Bitcoin kind of locally. Started realizing, well, nobody's running this thing. Everybody's running this thing. And like kind of grasped this concept that it was like a network of nodes. I was like, this sounds really cool. So um, that's kind of like, I think the realization that nobody's running this thing made me think, wow, this actually is something quite special. So yeah, from there, I guess I did the sort of guess the thing that a lot of possibly Bitcoiners have done of discovering Bitcoin, but then discovering all the wonderful shit coins and being like a kid in a sweet shop on exchanges, just thinking I don't even know what this is, but um so yeah, I went on a bit of a shitcoin journey. That was kind of like through the sort of 2017 up to 2018, that sort of bull run we had around that time. um Lost a load of money on just various shitcoin things, and I think that probably taught me an expensive lesson, and kind of went full circle and actually realized that they're mostly all just garbage and maybe Bitcoin is the one. So from there, just kind of got more and more sort of, I don't know, obsessed, could you say? Probably, yeah, obsessed with Bitcoin. I love it. I'm just, yeah, um, super passionate about it. So since sort of then, in the more recent years, um, I've been helping sign the Bridges to Bitcoin guys out, and then started running a Bitcoin sort of meetup down in Nottingham. Well, so there was actually one that ran a little while ago, a Bitcoin meetup in Nottingham that had gone a bit quiet. So I started a new one up and then ended up chatting to the guy who was previously organised the Bitcoin meetup in Nottingham. So we kind of merged forces and made a fantastic meetup in Nottingham. So yeah, that worked out really well. Yeah, I mean, we do a
So
monthly meet.
how long have you been running that from? How long have you
So
been meeting?
I think we've been meeting probably monthly now for, I reckon it must be about a year. We've been sort of regular every month having a meetup. I kind of sort of took over a bit more in probably 3, 4 months ago. It's still a joint effort. I mean, a lot of people contribute and get involved. So, yeah, I love it. Like I said, I'm happy for everyone who wants to help out and get involved. So, and then I suppose from there, I guess that's how the whole Bitcoin Fest and Orange Pill in the local football club came around. So we'll get to that in a minute.
All right, very interesting, very interesting. And then how has Bitcoin changed your life, or has it changed your life?
Oh yeah, it definitely has. So I guess the biggest thing it's changed. I mean, I suppose once you go down this sort of rabbit hole, it changes so many things, doesn't it? But um, I think it's just given me so much more interest in the world generally. I think before I discovered Bitcoin, I was sort of just, you know, going to work, earning some money, spending some money. Didn't really kind of pay that much attention to politics or world politics, geopolitics. Yeah, I think probably that's the biggest thing that's changed. Just sort of the appreciation that there's so much stuff going on in the world, both good and bad. And yeah, probably big picture, that's how it's changed me most. Just taking an interest in stuff going on around me and not just living in my own little bubble. I suppose close to home as well, the massive, like, I suppose, understanding of how fiat money is just being sort of, you know, inflated away to nothingness. So yeah, I suppose made me think a bit more sort of long term, a bit more about the future rather than just living day to day, spending my money. Actually, a way you could save money. So yeah, I guess yeah,
I I think what it brings to when people start really learning about Bitcoin, it opens up their mind, doesn't it? It changes your whole
absolutely,
mindset about what's really going on in the world. And as you
definitely,
explained there, you start going and looking more at the macro things. And for people that don't understand what macro means, it just means looking at the bigger picture, looking at the
yeah,
global thing. And I think myself, since I started on this journey in 2020 properly, and I started learning more about the macro, you know, we can once you can see the macro, you can really understand what's going to happen in the micro, in your own town or in your own
yeah,
city
yeah,
or village or wherever you
definitely,
are, doesn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely, yeah, it really does. And I think as well, like just I suppose like appreciation for other sort of smaller things, like you said, just the sort of hometown kind of aspect. You know, just like thinking maybe I'll go to small businesses and buy my meat from a butcher rather than just going to the big supermarkets, which I always used to do. It was just I wouldn't have ever considered going to a butcher, whereas now I'll absolutely shop at a butcher and buy my meat from the butchers. And just little things that just like, you know, like if I go for a coffee, I always used to just go to, you know, the big Starbucks and Costa, whereas now I very rarely do. Now I'll look for a little independent coffee shop, and yeah, just things like that. I think it's really made me think about.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It does. It changes your whole mindset, really.
Yeah,
You know, uh, and then what about? Do you look at anything what's going on about the financial system? What's happening in the UK regarding the financial system? How are you doing over there? Or are you the
yeah,
same as everybody else in Europe and in
pretty
America?
much, pretty much the same as everyone else. Oh, good, possibly worse. Yeah, the sort of UK financial system, UK politics at the moment concern me a lot. I just think the UK is kind of on a bit of a roller coaster ride to disaster, to be honest. Sadly, yeah, it worries me. It worries me a lot, especially having sort of kids and kind of thinking what they're growing up into. Yeah, it's quite scary when I sit and think about it.
And what type of things are happening then? That's making you think
Oh,
more.
so I suppose like just a sort of recent example, local councils going bankrupt. I sort of think this was never a thing. Um, yeah, just sort of sitting back and like watching the council has no money to do anything, and then they're pulling
And
funding to all the
why
sort
do
of
they have no money though? Why do they have no money? They're getting all this council tax, they're getting all
yeah,
this hard-earned money from people, you know?
mm, yeah,
Why?
yeah.
What's going on with that?
It's scary, isn't it? It makes you wonder. Like you said, I suppose that yeah, combination of the money having less value and bad decisions, I guess. But yeah, I think it's really sad when you see where we are cutting funding to all the things that to me matter and we need. But yeah, Bitcoin is hopefully going to save us. That's my plan anyway.
Well, I think when people really do their homework on it, they can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, you
Definitely,
know,
yeah. It
and they
does
can
give
see
me
the hope.
yeah, 100%.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. Uh, Another thing as well that people don't understand, and I've been studying a little bit more about this as well, about, you know, all these people that are in these councils and these governments, they never held out to account for the
No.
reckless spending.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so true. Yeah.
how
Like you
can you
said, I
break a
guess,
council? How can you make a council go broke when it's taking in so much money? What are they spending the money on?
yeah. And like you said, it does seem that there's just no accountability for it. It's just like, well, we've gone bankrupt. We'll get some consultants in. Be all right. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is when you really start digging deeper into it.
Mm, definitely. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think as well, I find that I love like the Bitcoin meetups and the Bitcoin circle because people seem to actually, like me, are concerned and give this some consideration. And I just think day to day, you go around and chat to some people, and they're just so wrapped up in their own little world. They've not even give it a second thought. I mean, I look around me and think it's a miracle that there's not like mass civil unrest, but there's not everything, and which is great. Obviously, I don't want mass civil unrest. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just amazes me that everyone's just ticking by, assuming it's going to be all right. And I fear we're just so close to breaking point. But
Yeah. Wasn't there an incident there last year as well in the UK with the guilds, like the pension funds in the UK?
yeah, I didn't follow that one closely. But yes, I think there was. I think they messed that. And that's another thing. I mean, pension funds generally and pensions generally, I kind of think, I've got a pension with work, but I think I'm never going to get to claim my pension. I just think this is a joke. Like, it just seems we're putting the pension age up and up, and what you have got's going to be practically worthless. So I sort of think, like you said, saving for the long term. I'm very much not trusting my pension's going to save the day. To me, like I said, Bitcoin and other sort of valuable assets might, but again, it worries me that people are just assuming that they're paying a pension and they're going to be all right. But yeah, we'll see.
The truth
Hopefully
be
they will.
known. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully they will, but the truth be known, are they going to be really all right? Yeah. And what is your pension going to be worth?
yeah,
If you're thinking you're getting, say, £250 in 20 years' time for your
mm,
pension per week, what is that going to be worth?
yeah.
The rate
Like you
that
said,
they value in the currency.
absolutely. Like you said, what are you going to be able to buy with that? It's an interesting point as well, actually. I mean, I kind of think just on that point of like you said, what your money's going to be worth. Like talking to my parents, I've tried to sort of talk them into Bitcoin, or at least not necessarily Bitcoin. Suggested that gold, anything, any hard asset that's actually not just been, like you said, printed away to nothingness. But yeah, talking to my parents, I kind of think that they've paid the mortgage off and they've got a few quid, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll save, like, make sure there's some money left for you. I'm like, no, just buy something with it. Buy buy something and give me something, not just pounds, that sort of thing. Like you said, by the time you actually see some of the pounds, I think, yeah, I might be able to buy myself a beer at the pub or something with all your
Probably a
hard-earned
bicycle.
savings.
A bicycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And unfortunately, the reason for that is probably because people have been kept so busy, stuck in the rat race, going around
yeah.
in circles, and they just can't get out of it. They
No,
haven't even got a minute to put their head out of that race that they're in
yeah.
and just stop and think for
I think,
for 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 a few hours or a few days or something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
People are just
right,
trapped in this whole fiat
definitely.
system, and it does trap you. I think
Yeah, yeah,
anyway, it does trap
I
you. And
think
it's only until you start
100%.
really looking at it and learning about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely. I think as well from like an education point of view, like I mentioned, I've got two kids who are at school, and you kind of think schools don't teach anything about sort of money or the financial system. And I mean, obviously that's kind of intentional, I'm sure, like you said, to keep people trapped in that rat race. But I just think the sooner people start waking up and realizing, the better, really.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But all we
Yeah,
can do with that is we can show them the way.
that's true.
But
Yeah,
if they don't want
which
to, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it
that's
drink.
no, that's true enough. Yeah, you really can't, can you? Like I said, some people who I've thought just get some Bitcoin, just pay attention. Like you said, hopeless.
Yeah. And what about people around you yourself? Your own circle of friends? How are they? Are they listening? Are they doing anything?
I think
Are they laughing at you? Or they think you're crazy?
literally, I think a combination of all of the above. I've got a few friends who are sort of, some kind of get it. I mean, I've got a good, just as an example, I've got quite a close friend who works in the sort of traditional finance system. He works with like investment and stuff, and he is very anti. He sees Bitcoin as like far too risky to dabble in, and it's such a, to me, such a weird way of looking at it. I'm sort of thinking, well, to me, it's obvious you don't want to keep pounds if you've got a lot because they ain't going to buy you much in 30 years. But yeah, so he's an interesting an example. But no, other friends, friendship groups, sort of circle of friends. Yeah, bit of bit of all sorts really. Some are interested, some think I'm completely nuts, and everything in between.
Yeah. I think we're all in the same boat, really, you know, and you talk to even a lot of high profile people and
Yeah.
that have put in hundreds of thousands, millions into it,
Mm.
you know, their own close circle of friends probably think it's crazy. But I think, you know what I mean, very
Yeah.
soon with these ETFs and everything that are happening.
Yeah.
What do you think of the ETFs yourself? Have you been looking much at them? What's been going on with
Uh,
those?
I've not been paying loads of attention to them. I mean, I think I'm torn on it. So half of me thinks, I suppose, for Bitcoin to kind of mature as an asset, that yeah, it's probably regulations needed and it's a step in the right direction. But then the other half of me, the maybe slightly more anarchist side of me, maybe thinks that I don't, I didn't ask for that. I got into Bitcoin as a opt out from the traditional financial system, and I sort of think we don't want that. We want to do our own thing. So yeah, I'm torn. I see both sides of the argument. Um, some of me just thinks that I don't know, when I first got into Bitcoin, it felt like, I suppose, that a bit more a sort of step outside of traditional finance, whereas now it all feels a bit more intertwined, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're coming in
Um,
now anyway, and since January 10th,
mm,
we've seen the volume that they've been hoovering
yeah,
up, and they're only
yeah,
starting. You know,
that's
I
true.
think I heard yesterday that Hong Kong is about to release an ETF now. If they do
Yeah,
that in the next month or 2 months, the volume of money that's kind of coming from the Asian
yeah,
countries
yeah,
into Hong Kong, you know,
yeah.
through them ETFs. And
Mm,
there's a supply shock already and a
yes,
huge
definitely.
demand.
And I
Yeah,
suppose with the halving coming up, it's going to be even more interesting. So yeah, I certainly
yeah.
think from, I suppose, a point of the value going up, it's definitely good. But like I said, just some of me things, it just feels like, don't know, selling our soul of it. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but people do think that. So like, there's gonna be good and bads for it.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
anything new to Bitcoin, I think is a threat and has to be looked at a bit of from have to be looked at properly and see how it pans out. But we can see what's going on with the price. But most Bitcoiners, we don't follow the price anymore. Yeah,
No, no, I
we
certainly
don't
don't pay that much
anymore.
attention anymore. Yeah,
You know, when I have money, I just buy Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what price it is anymore. You
yeah,
know, have my same
totally.
strategy in place, and
Yeah,
that's what I do.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand the value of what we're buying and what it is going to be in the future, and
yeah,
we're only
100%.
starting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Nottingham meetup, the Nottingham
Okay.
event.
So yeah, I'll start at the sort of beginning with that one and talk you through kind of how it all came about. So like I said, I've been running or sort of co-running the Bitcoin Nottingham meetup for a little while. We were just sort of using a couple of bars around Nottingham, and another close friend, a guy called Mitch, he was closely tied into Carlton Town Football Club, so he's on the board there, and got chatting to him, and he's sort of he got into Bitcoin, and a bit later than me probably. I think I probably got him into Bitcoin, to be fair to say. So yeah, he was on the board at Carlton Town, and he's like, yeah, I reckon we could get them accepting Bitcoin. So he sort of spoke to some of the sort of management and stuff down there, and yeah, they were keen. So yeah, basically down there, they sort of thought, yeah, dead up talking, sort of starting accepting Bitcoin. We kind of told them that, potentially if you accept Bitcoin, we could move the meetup down here. Bitcoiners will come, it'd be good. So they got on board with, I think, Coin Corner and started just used a sort of point of sale device behind the bar. After that, we integrated onto the website, which was really cool. Started selling merch and stuff on the website. So then you got like the usual football fans and whatever coming in and saying to the bar staff, "What's this Bitcoin stuff all about?" And the bar staff are kind of like, don't know anything about Bitcoin other than we've got this point of sale device and we accept it. So us obviously going down for the meetup was great, and we all went and spent some sats, which was amazing. But yeah, just it sparked a bit of curiosity, I think, from the sort of fans. So fans coming in, didn't, wanting to know more. We're like, well, come along to a meetup. And I think one or two did, and they came along to a meetup and probably felt maybe a little overwhelmed by it all, because some of the meetups were possibly, was like, we've been seriously into Bitcoin for a long time. And I remember one, there was a guy came who's totally new to it, and we had one of our sort of guys who come down to the regular meetups who's a developer doing like a tech talk on UTXOs. And this guy was just like, what have I just walked into? He sat for 10 minutes. He's like, nah, sorry, I'm off. This is like so over my head. I don't know what you're saying. So yeah, we're like, oh, that's a shame. So we thought this idea of like the Bitcoin Fest, just make it super newbie friendly. So we've kind of got all of our key speakers, and we've said, make your talk like super kind of for someone who's heard of Bitcoin and doesn't know anything about it other than it's a thing, it's a digital asset, want to know more. So yeah, we've got different aspects covered by the different speakers. So we've got, obviously, we spoke about Victoria. She's going to do like a sort of monetary policy kind of thing. We've got Ben Art coming down. He's going to do a bit more kind of newbie sort of the technical side. We've got the Bridges to Bitcoin guys, Cy and James. They're going to do some stuff around like the sort of meetup and social side. Coach Carbon, he's going to do something on, I think he's going to kind of try and tie in how Bitcoin maybe takes you down a journey of being a bit more sort of concerned about your health and stuff, and just, yeah, I suppose tie it into the football sort of side of things. So that should be good. I think we've got a good team of speakers together who can hopefully do a good job. Brilliant, sharing your screen, thank you. So yeah, it should be really good. And like I said, we're hoping to get some of the fans down there, and just sort of tell them a bit about what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why they maybe want to pay interest to it. So yeah, that's kind of the story so far with it. I suppose it started off as just, we'll do this thing and try and get people locally to come down, but it's kind of really just took off from there. We've had so many people like, yeah, I can help you out with this and this, and we've got people saying, yeah, can I sponsor it? So it's really grown. We wanted to keep it really like grassroots, and so we wanted it to be free for everyone. So which we've done. It's free. The VIP tickets are £5, which is next to nothing really. And we're going to do goodie bags. So if you got the VIP ticket, you get way more than £5 worth of stuff in your goodie bag. So the guys at Coin Corner sent us some of the Mount socks down. We've got some, bookmarks and key rings and stickers and all sorts of goodies in there. So yeah, you really get your money's worth. But the VIP tickets are all sold now, which is great news. So that's at least 100 people confirmed. And I think we've sold about another, well, not sold, registered about another 80 tickets, I think, on top of that. So we're aiming for probably a good 200 people turnout. That's the kind of the goal. And then on top of that, obviously, the people who are just coming down for the football match, which probably will bring another 100 people in as well. So should be a really big day. Yeah, we've got all sorts. We've got posters and flags and bunting, and then we've put some entertainment on. We've got a close-up magician kind of coming down to do some magic. We've got Joe Martin, the magician, Bitcoiner. He's going to come along and do a few sets. Later on in the day, we've got a DJ. We've got face painters because we wanted to be family friendly, so we've encouraged people to bring the kids along. So yeah, face painters. What else have we got going on? All sorts. Should be a good day.
Sounds great. All right, and we're just going through the different speakers there, and we're just sharing my screen. But yeah, that's good. So that's actually good for your first meetup, like for your first event, 200 people. It's quite good. It's something like what we had at our first event in Dublin in Ireland, because I'm the co-founder of the Bitcoin Ireland conference as well, that we started in 2022, and we had it again last year, and we grew by about 50%, and we're gonna probably grow it by another 50 to 100% this year.
Yeah.
So it's all about networking and growing and getting like-minded people together in the same venue, isn't it? And talking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sharing ideas.
yeah. Like I said, yeah, I'm really hopeful it'll be a good day. And I think it's nice that people are bringing the families down. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Very good, very good. And I'm just wondering, does Coach Carbon do something with Nottingham? Does he?
No,
Oh,
I think he's Oxford based. Like I said, I've met
okay.
him at a few events in the past, and he's coming down to do a talk on this. But yeah, no, he's not sort of directly involved with Nottingham.
Oh,
Tried to ask him if he'll do a bit of a kick around with some of the kids because they've got some training pitches as well. So yeah, I was like, oh, do you want to go play some football? He's like, yeah, I'm keen. So that should be good.
very good, very good. Have you been, were you over in Madeira by any chance, were you? Just
No,
gone?
sadly not. I missed that one, and I was very gutted. I did. Yeah, I almost had to bring myself off Twitter. I was getting so jealous. It looked amazing. Were you over there?
Yeah, we went over, yeah. And there was a good
Yeah,
team of people that
yeah,
came over from Ireland as well. There was about 20 or 30 of us that went over from Ireland.
yeah.
And families
Brilliant.
went over as well, and we brought Theo with us as well, and it was amazing. It was great, you know.
Yeah,
I seem to like you know when we go to the smaller events, uh, like say with a couple of thousand people or a couple of hundred people,
yeah,
they're more personal, you know, and you get to meet a lot more people, and you can
yeah,
talk to people, and instead of I can imagine going to Miami, I'd say it'd be just crazy over there, wouldn't it? Or you know the Bitcoin,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
moved it now to Tennessee, didn't they? Bitcoin 2024 in America. It used to be held in Miami, but they're after
Okay,
moving the venue
right.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
but the smaller
yeah,
ones are always
yeah,
better, you know. So then
yes.
once
I've
you're,
heard some people say that,
yeah, that's what
and
I
I
found
think I kind
anyway.
of get that. Yeah, definitely.
They're more intimate, aren't
Yeah,
they? Because you can meet the speakers as well, and
yeah,
you can meet people, and they're walking around. But I say those American ones, the speakers are very maybe a bit hesitant to walk around out in the
yeah. Probably
out
quite a
there
high
because
profile.
you know they get mobbed over there and everything, don't they?
Yeah.
Not like England and Ireland, you know, and maybe Europe, you know. But yeah. So then, what's the plan then for after the event? Are you doing anything? Is it just when the football match is on, or how many hours is it for? Or
So it's we're opening the gates at 9:30 in the morning, and it's right through till 11 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, it's a full day. Yeah,
all right,
hopefully
okay.
hopefully we've got enough to keep people entertained. So like I said, yeah, we've got quite a bit going on. So full day out. Yeah, I mean after that, I don't know. I think we'd probably, if it's a success, I think we'd probably try and make it maybe an annual thing. It's a lot of work. That kind of, I suppose, I've not done anything quite on this scale before, so maybe knowing how much work it was and beforehand might have put me off. But I've really enjoyed it, sort of getting involved with sort of the organising. So yeah, it's been good. Um, yeah, after that, just stick with running the Nottingham meetup. I guess I'm hopeful that we might pull a few more sort of bigger numbers into the sort of monthly meets after this. Fingers crossed, we'll orange pill a few people on the day and get them coming along to the monthly meetups. So that'd be good. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Whether we do another. Me and Mitch, my sort of co-organizer of the event, we kind of mentioned as well whether we look at doing potentially in different cities or team up with other people and possibly even internationally. We wondered if you could use the brand just to basically do similar to we're doing, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That's it. Just get the first one done first, and then
Yeah,
review what happened, and then
yeah,
try and do it every year, and then
yeah,
maybe do whatever works for yourselves. You know, the main thing is getting the first one over the line, and then
yeah,
working from there. That's the main thing.
yeah.
You know,
Cool. Definitely.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody wants to get in touch with yourselves, how would they get in touch with yourselves? Give the
So
website a plug and your Twitter handle and all that.
brilliant. Yeah. Okay. So the website is thebitcoinfest.com. So that's got all the sort of information on the lineup for the day and when people are going to be talking and all the fun stuff we've got going on. So that's probably a first place to go. You can get tickets registered on there as well. We're at the Bitcoin Fest on Twitter. So yeah, check us out. Give us a follow on there. If you want to email me, it's chris@thebitcoinfest.com. I mean, we did set up Facebook and other bits and bobs, but yeah, we've not really done much with them. So yeah, stick to those.
Okay, very good, very good. So hopefully you might see some of our viewers there on April the 6th and over and out from Dublin.
Fantastic. Great talking. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.